Today I'm going to talk about something I struggle often with, which I'm just going to call decision anxiety, just to differentiate it from some other forms of anxieties that are out there, which I also have. Sometimes I cannot even explain why I'm anxious. I just feel anxious, just like that. So it's probably not my idea. The idea of anxiety. I can recall Jean-Paul Sartre, the French philosopher, talking about angoisse, which is really that anxiety you have when you have to make a choice, especially when you have got to make an important choice with the consequences, and we've got the two options or maybe more, but both options have got a kind of plus and the minuses, and it's hard to put on a balance. So there is, if you do A, this might happen. If you do B, that might happen. So you get quite anxious which decision to take, and sometimes you seek advice and you get the same kind of conflicting advice. Your friend will say do A, and the other friend say do B, and that's a kind of anxiety I cannot get rid of. So whenever I want to buy something, whenever, especially if it's something pricey or something that could fade, like in electronics, do I buy second hand, or just spend the money to buy a new one? More expenses like cars and houses, it's even worse. I would spend like months and months weighing options, running spreadsheets. I got a ton of spreadsheets on my computer and the documents, decision, trying to make some decision trees. I think it comes from what this one philosopher called the satisfier, and I think he did what he wrote a book on. Oh, my brain. He wrote a book on the paradox of choices. The paradox of choice. So his argument is when we've got a multiple choice, sometimes it's not a good thing because you tend to agonize onto which decision or which choice is better. And for me, and he classified the people into two groups. There are those that are satisfied or satisfies, I can't remember the real term, but those are the people who make a decision and are happy with that. It's good enough, I'm okay. And what you call the maximizer or optimizer. So you want the optimum decision, the one with the most advantage and the least risks or risk disadvantages. So in trying to maximize, to optimize, you it is really hard to know exactly which one of the products you want to buy, if the product or decision you want to make will give the maximum. And when it happened that it wasn't the best decision, that A was better, you feel bad about that decision because your objective was to maximize. An example is, I don't know, I book a flight today and I searched on all those aggregators, and there is a flight that is $500, and that's the best flight over there. I checked with the links, layovers, and it looks like the best choice with the money and with the quality of travel, and I booked that one. But then tomorrow there is a special, and that flight, the same flight or a similar flight or even a better flight is running 400. Then you feel like, ah, oh, but he couldn't have waited. He did not know that there were gonna be some sort of a special running, and you could wait, and the prices could go higher. So the satisfies, I will say, oh well, at the current at the moment of the booking, that was the best decision. So be it. If today there's a better option, I just did what was best under the circumstances, and actually it's good. 400 for 500 for this trip is worth it, so they don't really consider if they could have gotten a better deal or not. So I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person who wants to maximize, and when it doesn't work, when I realize that my choice could be better, I feel so bad about it. So that's me, and it happens when I'm buying something. As I said, when I'm booking flights, when I'm booking hotels, is it I don't know, upstairs, downstairs? Does it have security? Is it too far or too close to the airport? Do they have Wi-Fi? All these combinations. It's really a enormous task deciding, and that's why actually I don't enjoy traveling that much, because traveling for me involves a ton of decisions to make, from where to go, where to stay, how to travel between places, how to book flights. It's just so many decisions to make, and it's quite depressing for me when I'm tasked to do those sort of things. Now, it doesn't happen often with the jobs, because you're not going to be given five jobs at once and struggle to find which job to do. But there has been times where I got two jobs and I couldn't decide which one was better. And I was tempted at one stage to take on two jobs until I thought, nah, that's gonna be too much. But it was really an agonizing process. They had the same salary levels, I would think. One has got the disadvantage of being a full time, meaning a bit of secure job, pay as you earn, as they call it, or pay job, salary job. It also helps when you go look for a loan. The lenders appreciate a full time salaried job over a contract job. But the contract job has got some tax advantages and the flexibility around them. So that's a choice I had to make, but I think I made the right one this time. So yeah, I think I have to learn to be a little bit more of a satisfier. So I look at a piece of equipment and I think it's value 500. If I pay 500, it doesn't matter what is being sold in other shops. I can live with that. There's also a $5 principle I've heard, which you could make maybe $10 or maybe $100 if you want to be safe, spiritually or mentally speaking. That is, if there is a difference of $5, I'm not gonna think twice. So if I go to shop A and I want to buy a razor, and the razor is $50, but I know in the other shop it could be $55 or $50. So this one is 55 and the other one's $50. I'm not gonna think twice. I'm just gonna grab the razor next to me. It's not. There's no point going around for $5. I think that could be expanded. I with small knots, I don't mind that much. I never make a fuss of $5 or $6 except once. But with big items, it's quite hard to decide whether $200 is worth driving a few more kilometers to go to the next shop, or if you're booking a flight and there's a difference of $200, but there's a long layover at one airport, is it worth waiting, sitting around for 5 hours to save 200? Those are the sort of decisions that are often not clear for me, at least. So I made the video because over the last 6 months, actually, I had a huge purchase to make, and I did a lot of research, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of searching in open homes. Now I said what it is, and it was a painful experience to go through all of that. From not painful as in bad experience, but it's a lot of decision making, and for me, it's mentally taxing. Then I have a bit of a trip to make, and again, I have this decision, multitude of decisions to make, and they all make me anxious. And I always think whenever I finish to book something or to pay for something, should I have, or could I have, or if I waited a little bit, would it be a bit better, or should I have bought yesterday, because yesterday it was probably cheaper, and all of that, all those decisions, they come and accumulate in my brain, and I get to explode. And you add to that like job related tasks, where you also have got a choice to make between two options, or two approaches to a problem. It is at work, you can always get somebody to check it for you. You can ask a friend, a colleague to check if your work is good, and they'll say good, and then you kind of get validated. But with the personal choices, it's hard to find somebody to tell you with the honesty that this house you bought is good for the value of it, or whether they actually have that sort of knowledge or skills to make that decision for you. And the other things, though, it would be ridiculous to start asking people whether a flight it's good between waiting 2 hours and paying $200, which one is the best option, because that's really a personal things and a personal taste. They also do not know your pocket for most part, so, or you don't want to just reveal all your situation, and so you can't have really a objective advice on many things. So the decision is on you or on me to make. So that's what I wanted to say, but I think it's not new. As I said, Jean-Paul Sartre referred to this as angoisse. That's a French word, probably same as anxiety, when it comes to decisions that are equally important at the times, and whichever way you go, you can't gonna feel the other option is missing out. That's another thing. There's always there's always a kind of missed sort of opportunity when you do option A. That means you didn't do option B, and maybe there were some, although option B was not the best one, it had some good things into it. So if you take a trip, you decide to go to Europe, between Europe and Asia, of course you went to Europe, but you didn't go to Asia. So although Europe was your best choice, you also missed to see, I don't know, the Great Wall of China or something. So there's always that anxiety, and I think it's normal. You just have to be kept under a certain dose, just to not make us paralyzed and too depressed. Because for most part, these are not decisions that are fatal. I mean, if you lose 200, 2,000, $1 million, even if you have that one, so what? It's not the end of the world. You can always recover or live with what you have left. Okay, long video saying nothing. Take care.